So they got the tail. We're gonna put it away for a second. Gonna put this away for a second. And we're gonna bring out the spinnerbait. Spinnerbait is a confidence bait right now. And we're gonna go trailerless.
Hello, I'm the Sonoran Desert Angler. Welcome back to the channel. We are back at Puerto Penasco, aka Rocky Point, fishing the surf with the spinnerbait. One of my new favorite ways to catch fish off of the surf. I'm including kind of a clip from when I grab my rod until I catch a fish, so you can see how effective it is when the fish are biting and around. So this is the third part of a 3-part series of me fishing the surf and catching fish on vacation. And I highly recommend jerkbaits, spinnerbaits, spoons, soft paddle tails. I was getting follows on the chatterbait, but I didn't catch anything on the chatterbait.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Another one. It's the spinnerbait. That's what's working. I tried all kinds of other stuff. Huh? Yeah, I think it was my third cast. Yeah. We're back in business. Me. I'm not targeting them. Okay, close it. Oh my god.
So I've never caught like a ginormous fish off of the surf in Rocky Point. You don't really need to jack them super hard. They're usually pretty small fish. Even the bigger corvina I was catching were not really that heavy, you know, and they have very thin lips and mouths. So I just do a sweeping hook set like you just saw there, and I walk back so I can just pull them out of the surf. Because sometimes I would lose them just trying to play them in the surf right there because the waves are crashing and whatnot.
Beautiful. That's not what we're trying to see. Let it go.
This big black blob in front of me is a big school of baitfish. So I'm gonna cast right in the middle of it, and this is what you want to do. You're gonna get hooked up, just like I did right here.
This one feels big. Yeah, buddy.
This is a very delicious fish. We kept almost all of them. We let go of some of the real little ones once we had a couple big ones. But it worked so well that this is pretty much what I do now. And I'm using a 20-pound braid to an 8-pound mono leader. So it's not anything crazy. I'm using budget gear. The the spinner baits I'm using are not budget. They're kind of a little bit pricey, but I think it's totally worth it because I wanted some strong wire so that they don't break on me. And I basically used two spinner baits, one Megabass SV3. The one that you just saw in the previous clip was a Shimano Swaggy Strong. So they were about 20 bucks each, and I brought four with me, and I only needed to use two. I didn't break any of them. So I think it's totally worth it, and when they do break, I'm gonna replace them.
This looks like some kind of shark. Just gonna let it go.
Just a reminder that this is an amalgamation of my trips to Rocky Point from the summer of 2023. So this is about 4 trips. Uh, we're talking like 6 days of fishing total, and I was catching fish every day that I was fishing, and I was only fishing the incoming tide. And sometimes I got lucky, like on this day, I was able to fish right next to where we set up camp, our little shade structure right next to the family, and I didn't have to walk. But sometimes I have to walk, and I have to walk pretty far to find the fish. So just check it out where you're set up, where your base camp is, and if you're catching fish, you lucked out. But if you're not, you're gonna have to walk to find them. And for the spinner bait, I'm using a cheap Shimano Sellus rod, a 7-1 medium heavy spinning rod. They don't make this anymore. They have a new one, but this is a two-piece, so I was able to travel with it. They don't make that anymore. But if I was in the market for new gear, I would just get a medium heavy um, spinning rod, 7 feet to 9 feet, and I'm using a 2500 size reel, and this is a budget reel. This is like a $30 reel. It's a Shimano Sienna. It's a old model of it. I've had it for over a decade. I've had this rod for a long time too. I just like taking budget gear to Penasco because the sandy beach and the salt water, and this is the only application I use this rod for, so it holds up because I don't use it for other stuff. But that's just how I roll. In case it breaks on the trip or whatever, I'm only out like $50 on the rod and $30 on the reel. But as you can see, it works. I'm catching fish. I'm able to set the hook and pin them, and it's so much fun. Since we're doing a little bit of gear talk, this is the other rod that I use. This is an Ugly Stik Gx2, the older model, the 9-foot model. And I bought this rod for surf fishing and for fishing for catfish with bait. So this is my live bait rod, but it's very noodly, very whippy. So it's really good for treble hook baits where you don't need a lot of sensitivity. Is not very sensitive at all, and it's super heavy, so it's not the best for all day fishing. You're gonna feel it in your shoulder, especially the 9-foot rod walking down the surf. And I'm using a size 4000 Kast King Sharky Baitfeeder because this is my live bait rod. So I'll put live bait on here for catfish. And in Penasco, if you get a 2-inch PVC pipe and you cut a 45-degree angle into the one end of it, you can use it as a sand spike, and you can throw out a Carolina rig with some fish meat or some shrimp or whatever, and you can catch triggerfish, which are super delicious, and they're fun. They fight hard too. So I used this rod for that application as well. But this trip I didn't bring my sand spike. We were in the Prius. I had to be very conservative with the stuff I brought. So I just brought lures that I can walk with, and right now I'm using a Yozuri 3D shrimp, which worked amazing, but the hooks on it weren't the best. I had to switch out the hooks. In part one, I showed me missing fish with this lure, and I was missing a lot of fish, but I also caught a lot of fish with it. But the hooks are not the best. I need to replace the hooks on this thing. I caught this Corvina, but I wasn't recording, and I did it with the spinnerbait. So I was going back and forth between the spinnerbait and the jerkbait because you get tired of fishing the same thing over and over. Or at least I do. Maybe you don't. But it was so much fun. This is pretty much all I do now when I go. I bring jerkbaits, I bring spinnerbaits, I bring paddle tails, I bring metal lures. So I just kind of want to share what works for me so that if you're going down there, you can have some fun too.